Today students are going to learn how to multiply fractions by using models. The purpose of this lesson is not to teach students how to multiply fractions. They already know the process. You multiply numerators, 2 times 3 is 6, and you multiply denominators, 3 times 4 is 12. Then you simplify. The purpose of this lesson is to show students how to model fractions. And the way we model fractions is first by just creating a rectangle to represent one whole. Then we're going to cut this whole into thirds. So we want to make 3, and I'm going to make 3 rows. In this situation, you'll see that I've created 3 rows. We have 3 rows here, and this represents my denominator. To represent my numerator, I'm going to shade in 2 of those rows. At this point, I have represented 2 thirds. So I have 2 shaded in out of 3 parts. Now I'm going to take the second part of my fraction, 3/4, and I'm going to create columns, and I'm going to create 4 columns to represent them. Alright, now I've created fourths. I have 4 columns. Here's 1 column, 2, 3, 4. So this represents my denominator in my second fraction of my multiplication problem. Now, just like I did in the first, I'm going to shade in 3 of those 4 columns. Now I've shaded in those columns, and you'll see that I have 3 here. 1, 2, 3 columns shaded in, representing 3/4. So now all I have to do, I'm going to start by counting the number of squares that have both colors in them. So we'll see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That gives me my numerator. That's how many parts I have. There are now 6, so if I'm going to write little numbers, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to make up the whole. So we have 6/12. And students will recognize that this can be simplified to 1 1/2. Okay, let's review. I started with 2 thirds times 3/4. And to make a model, I started with my 2 thirds, and I began with my denominator, and I broke my solid object into 3 parts. Then, the numerator being 2, I shaded in 2 of those 3 parts. So the rows represent the fraction 2 thirds. Then I made columns. I have 4 columns representing my denominator 4, and I shaded in those in red, 3 to represent the numerator. I counted the number of overlapping shades to give me my new numerator, and I counted the remaining squares to give me my total number of squares, which was my denominator.